Hello and welcome, I'm Dante from Below Manor, and welcome to another Destiny 2 news roundup, as we get 1 week closer to the release of the PC version. But in the meantime, the console versions are now live, and the grind has certainly started for many. Destiny 2 is finally here, well, at least for the console users. As always, I'll be avoiding spoilers and talking very generally with the exception of the communication from Bungie themselves. Overall, Destiny 2 has been very well received by the Destiny community, and the hype has certainly been real. Now that the launch experience is starting to pass, with the majority having completed the main campaign at least once over, it's time for the real content to start, and for the long-term grinds to come to fruition. As part of the launch, This Week in Bungie has dropped a nice infographic for all of the activities coming over the next 4 weeks of resets. It's a pretty safe assumption we can expect a very similar window of activities for PC. The biggest drop for most people in the coming weeks will be the Leviathan raid, launching on Wednesday the 13th. Having provided just enough time for 2 weekly resets for high-level gear grinding, no one yet knows what the raid levels will be, but it has been confirmed there will be 2 different versions. The standard version, which should be around the 280 to 300 mark, and a prestige version which is likely running above the 300 mark. The precursor to the raid that everyone will want to be doing first, if only for the empowered engram, are the weekly nightfalls. One of the strikes is selected each week for a harder version with additional requirements added. For the first week this falls onto the arms dealer, with the mods Prism and Time Warp. Prism turns energy weapons into a match game to deal additional damage and significantly reduce damage for all other types. Time Warp limits the time you have to complete the strike, but the killing time modifier allows for more time to be gained by killing enemies. These are probably things we'll cover in significantly more detail as the PC release hits. But for now, back to the content calendar. Over the next 3 weeks from here, dropping every Tuesday, will be a new Nightfall, cycling through all of the strikes. All come with 2 modifiers, a gameplay modifier that affects the way you defeat enemies, and a timed modifier, with a new way to gain time each week. This already feels like a great mechanic, and with the addition of new ones in the future, it has potential to keep the endgame feeling fresh and challenging, at least for the once a week reward. A new feature touted in all the initial coverage of Destiny 2 was guided games, which will finally be introduced now that the clans have gone live. Starting with the introduction of the second Nightfall, clans will be able to run guided games with a beta trial to test out the system, with the raid version being included at the end of the month on the 26th. It's going to be interesting to see how this system actually works in the live game and how well it will compare to the regular matchmaking style. It's going to be interesting to see how the system actually works in the live game and how well it will compare to a regular matchmaking style. The next big confirmation comes in the form of Trials of the Nine. I think it's pretty safe to say we thought this would be a longer wait, but only 2 days after the raid, the PvP grind begins. The trials feature a specific map and game mode to be played in a competitive format, with the chance for high-end rewards dependent on how well your fireteam does. The first one will be Countdown on the Eternity map, switching to Survival the following week and back to Countdown for the 3rd week. I really hope they widen this up to more game modes, but I remain concerned for the PC version, as Bungie has ignored general requirements for a competitive environment. So including a fully competitive mode with rewards tied to consecutive success could be a massive issue for the game, at least on the PC. There's even an entirely new event that no one was aware of: Faction Rally. Seeing the return of Destiny 1 factions, Dead Orbit, New Monarchy and Future War Cult, it seems they will be taking a different role this time around. Potentially a limited time faction rep grind, or event where you pick a side. As the new locations have taken their original roles in a much improved system, I'm excited to see what Bungie will do with this. What do you expect to see from these events? The last 2 confirmation in the roadmaps, for flashpoints that's essentially just rotates between each planet over a 4-week period, and the return of Xur, the exotic wheeler dealer from Destiny 1. If you're not aware who he is, Xur is a mysterious figure that pops up selling exotic gear for a few days each weekend, returning each week with a new set of exotics in stock. Potentially a great way to get some gear you're missing. In Destiny 2 it seems he will be taking legendary shards, so be sure to stockpile some for Xur's appearance. In other news, there have been yet more leaks, and this time they've been confirmed by Bungie as true. The first DLC, scheduled for December, was already known to be linked to Osiris, but has been confirmed as the Curse of Osiris, featuring new content of all types and taking us to a new location, Mercury, which makes it seem like it will act much like the current zones, with its own structured story, adventures, PvP maps, strikes and maybe even a raid. Now it would be hard to round up the news of Destiny 2's release without mentioning the launch controversy splitting the community: shaders and microtransactions. A rather polarising topic with some valid points on either side. The PC version isn't out yet, so we've not been able to experience this for ourselves, and it's only really been a few days for those already grinding. and even between the two of us, we have slightly different opinions on the topic. But in a nutshell, the controversy is that 1. A much loved system of customization that was part of Destiny 1 has been modified to take shaders from the permanent implementations into one-time consumable items, going from applying to all gear to individual gear slots, including the Sparrow and your ship. This in itself changing the gameplay for some drastically, as according to Luke Smith, this applies to all of them, including drops from raids and other endgame activities. And I think you'll be hard pressed to find someone who wants to go back and do an old raid just to get some shaders for gear from the current raid, making people not want to use them at all. It's still early, so this could become a non-issue if the harder versions are going to drop large amounts, although for those in the community, not being able to change their appearance on the fly is going to drastically worsen their experience. The second part to the issue is the inclusion of microtransactions, allowing some shaders to be bought, which on the face of it looks like a straight up cash grab, taking an existing system and putting it behind a paywall. Yes, you can gain bright engrams in game, giving you access, but it all seems unnecessary to have them there to start with. Honestly, shaders feel like something that would make a great glimmer dump. If you find them in game by completing certain events, challenges, etc., and then buy new ones with the excess glimmer the game gives you, personally I don't like the idea of bright engrams as they are essentially loot boxes, which can be equated to a light form of gambling as you have no control over what you get for your money. It would make much more sense if you could just buy what you wanted from the store, and earn a currency to buy these each level instead of engrams. And finally, neither of us have an issue with microtransactions being in games, even AAA games, but they should be there for a reason, to provide future content, to pay for overheads such as dedicated servers, etc. When you see them in a game, you expect free content to be introduced to make up for them. Considering we will be paying for premium DLC down the line, I doubt we'll be seeing anything for free, but it's still early and for now I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. So what are your opinion on shaders and microtransactions in Destiny? Are you looking forward to the Nightfall and raids? And are you planning on playing with a clan? Will you be running others, or even being ran through the Nightfall as part of the guided game system? Let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button, subscribe to see more, and hit that little bell for notifications of new content as it goes live. Until next time, I've been Dante, thanks for watching.